Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are working on our interactive code base map, and today's topic is trying to fix some of our database generation. So, what is this project? This is a map of our image editor. The idea here is that we walk the whole code base of our image editor. We use tree sitter to parse the AST and kind of figure out, oh, okay, there are types and functions that we care about. We put a little dot on the screen for every type and function, and where it ends up on the screen is determined by its similarity to other nodes and stuff, right? So if you have there's nothing showing on hover anymore. It used to do that. I think I lost it somewhere. But you could imagine that there's GUI code kind of clumped in one area and math code kind of clumped in another area. The idea is that things that are either part of the same module should be close together, or if they are called by each other, they should be close together. And the idea is that we want to hook this map up to the editor so that when we spend more time in a file, that the thing that we're spending our most time on will be kind of weighted stronger. So if we're working on I don't know, our frame renderer, the idea here is that that thing will kind of be pulled to the front and center, and eventually these things will be labeled in some way, so that we can see at a glance, oh, we're in the frame renderer, and this thing is interacting a lot with the GUI subsystem and the application subsystem. But there's other stuff that it doesn't care that much about, and hopefully that will help when somebody comes into the code base and is what is happening right now. At a glance, they can kind of see how what we're working on right this second fits into the larger code base. That's the goal. Now, obviously, the way it is not very good, will not help with that, but I'm hoping that we can find some sort of visualization that helps with that, right? Now, if our references database is garbage, then this will never work, right? And I finally have been able to write some unit tests for the database generation, and I started finding some interesting behavior. So if I look at our little test case, I wrote a little test main. And this test main, he doesn't really do anything. He has two modules that he imports, and in one of them, he calls init and do something on a struct, an enum, and a union. If I go into this structure, this structure has a union inside him. And so if I look for calls for some union do something, our database should find all of these references, right? He should find this one in main.zig, as well as this one in some struct. So what is happening? We wrote a unit test. We go to our DB builder tests. And in here, we say, hey, after we build the database, could you please look for this do something node? And could you make sure that it's referenced by some struct to do something and main? And then as well, we also want to make sure that his parents are the parenting is kind of correctly attributed. So do something should also be referenced by some struct, because some struct do something is part of some struct, as well as main.zig, because main is part of main.zig. It should not be referenced by a.zig though, however, because some union do something is part of a.zig. So we don't do that. And what I found is this test does pass sometimes. So I generate this test database where we kind of record all of the responses from a language server. We ask the language server, hey, who references this guy? That's how we build the database, right? But if I spawn the language server and before I do anything, I throw a little before I start asking him stuff, I say sleep for 10 seconds, right? The behavior is different. So let's just start with the typical case where we don't sleep. Nobody likes sleeps. Sleeps are bad. Don't put sleeps in your code. But if we were to update our recording here, we give him a second to think a little bit, right? He's got to parse all the files, and then we run our test. He goes, hold on, let's see. Yes, he says, hey, I was referenced by some struct. I was referenced by some struct do something, great. But he doesn't log the references to the other things in main. That sucks. But if we put a little sleep for 10 seconds in here, and we run this again, so zig build, I think we have to update the recording. Update recording. Boom, 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 boom. Give him a sec. While we do that, I'm going to put a little 0000 over here. Oh, this is using your own GUI lib. It's using OpenGL, but also our GUI framework for UI widget rendering, yeah. We run our test again. He should say, bing, bang, boom, everyone's happy, right? So what is going on there, right? Well, you could probably make some argument that the language server under the hood has to do some sort of asynchronous processing of files to figure that out, right? So the goal for today is to try to figure out if we can like understand, if like programmatically we can determine when ZLS is ready to give us an accurate, correct response. That's what we're trying to do. Why is it slow to start up? Well, because we put a 10-second sleep in there. But the question is, why did we need that 10-second sleep? Is the more important question to answer. So we could assume the way this thing works is we send to the language server. We say, hey, could you log this like file open? So we go in here and we send this message. We say, hey, we're opening this file. And before that point, the language server doesn't know about any files in the project. We try, at the very least, to open every single file in our database. Let's first like make sure that we are opening every file, right? So let's go in here and be like, opening file, this file. And maybe also let's turn on some of the like language server logs. So I think that if we just comment out this like, there's like somewhere where it like ignore standard output from something or standard error. I think we just comment this out. We should see a little bit more logs. And let's zig build and zig build. Okay, give him a sec. And then we'll run our update recording again. So here we do see, in fact, that he has opened all the files. So we, at the very least, before we start populating any references, the language server should know that main.zig exists, right? Now you could argue, okay, maybe like we open main.zig, but he doesn't know about it in time, right? So let's try to see if we can gain any any feelings for if the language server has finished processing this. And I was looking at the ZLS source code. Maybe we'll go like this. Second window is probably the way to do this. In the ZLS source code, if we look for the like open file notification, which I can't remember what it's called. It was like LSP zig open file, we call open file, blah, blah, blah. This calls a did open notification, which calls text document did open. So if we look for like text document did open, we can see where the server processes it, right? So he's like, here, text document did open document handler. And in here, he does like do this like open document stuff, right? And then afterwards, he says, okay, if we support diagnostics from the client, could we please generate some diagnostics? And like, okay, that seems like maybe a notification that we could like pull into. So if we look at like the language server spec, somewhere in here, I believe we can start like asking questions about like what that means. So maybe we can also look for like who uses this generate diagnostics thing. So here, when he processes a job that's of type generate diagnostics, he eventually should pass a text document publish diagnostics message. So if we search here for text document publish diagnostics, we should see that he will send us a publish diagnostics parameters, which will tell us the document URI of this thing. So theoretically, we should be able to wait for this notification. And once that notification is done, then we should be confident that ZLS knows about this file. Hooray. So all we have to do is wait for this. And this is guarded by some capability, right? We saw that it's guarded by this. So we have to figure out how to like turn this capability on, which I think that if we just keep looking for this thing, we do see in here, text document capabilities has this thing publish diagnostics ? Which is a publish diagnostics capabilities. And so we should be able to just like on initialize, we should be able to tell the language server, hey, this is a list of things we support, which we already do to some extent. We do it a little bit, but we should just do it a little more. So if we go into our thing and we look for our initialize parameters here, initialize message, we already have this like capabilities text document thing, right? And we have like references in here. So I think that if we just look for we're looking for like, we have this. And so we have like a sibling to that thing, publish diagnostics. So we'll just kind of like drop that thing here. Boom, struct. And we'll also say default initialize this motherfucker. And then we just have to look in here. It looks like he has like optional, 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 optional. So hopefully if we just kind of like push an empty version of this thing, ZLS hopefully will decide that he can tell us when he's finished parsing a file, right? Hopefully. So let's also, like, on the ZLS side of things, try to at least confirm that, like, we think we're in here. Let's just double check that we're here. So if we just go in here and we say sudo debug print, we sure support diagnostics. Hopefully we start to see something useful there. Trust but verify. Yeah, perfect. So to do this, we need to build ZLS. This build takes like fucking forever. So I think part of this stream, we are going to try to figure out how to like debug this whole situation with a debugger. But for now, let's just start with like the simple. We'll start simple. We need to update our resource file. So we have like language config. Nothing in our code base technically knows that it's working with Zig. We have this like external configuration that says, hey, here's like all of the information that you need to process this type of project. And so in here, we should just be able to swap out like the typical language server with our hand-built one. I think it's in here, ZLS, yeah, Zig out, bin ZLS. So I think if we do this, it should just call a different language server that has our hacks in it, compiled in debug mode, so it'll be slow as fuck, but you know, we'll live. And if we just call like update recording again here, I'm hoping that we see something. Do we see like any form of like I don't see anything that indicates that our changes there. Now it could be that std debug print is like lost. So in here, can we be like, let's just first put unreachable in here. Let's just see if we like fucking crash. Let's see if we can force a crash. Because if not, then we just have no idea what the fuck is going on. LSP info should tell you attach server info like start path, but we're not using this through Vim. We're using this through like our program. So this is good. This is good. We ended up where we thought. We hit our if true unreachable here. So that's a really good sign. But we did not necessarily hit this. So let's try putting a print here now. Do prints work? I'm on TV. I'm on TV. Okay. Let's see if we can see evidence of that happening. Give him a sec, he's linking. We gotta let him link. Link him and dink. Nope. Never mind. Okay, so, we do see Hi Mama on TV, which indicates that the prints work, and we are not hitting this case. That's kind of what I believe is being indicated here, which means that we need to look a little bit closer at what ZLS needs in order to claim this thing is supported. Oh, we also just might not have built after we updated our initialize message. That's like a very real possibility, huh? So let's do both of those things. So opening file, opens document. Yeah, so we don't see that thing come in. So let's try to figure out how this thing gets set. Sets published, supports published diagnostics. Is text document published diagnostics is not equal to null. So that's kind of weird, right? Because we thought we tried to set that thing. Maybe we just fucked it up in some way. LSP types. Initialize message. Published diagnostics is a struct. Did we spell it right? Text. Oh, it's in the wrong spot. This is in text document. Oops. It's supposed to be here. It's supposed to be here. Oop and scoop. I've been running this like really stupid bit where I just say like, okay, we've got a Hi Mama on TV. That's good. I've been saying like something and something that rhymes with the first thing. And I've just been saying like when I'm playing against my friends, just like bop them and slop them. That's what I always say, just like all the time. And now it's just like kind of like a verbal tick that I have to prevent myself from saying. Okay. So we have confirmed that we can get some form of notification from the server. I think. Well, at the very least, the server knows that we should be able to process these things. And so I believe that now if we look for the usage of these things, we should be able to find somewhere where whether they generate the diagnostics, and we should be able to be like diagnostics complete with this URL. And we should be able to like extract some interesting information from this thing. I'm assuming that in here, publish diagnostics params has a URI, hell yeah. So we should be able to like diagnostics URI. Okay. And this should build. And we should be able to start saying like, okay, I'm sending this message with this URI. And then on our side, we should be able to just like wait for that notification. I'm hoping. Give them a sec to build again. We run, what was it? Update reporting. And so we do in fact see here, diagnostics complete for the file that we are working on. Boom, boom. So we should be able to, on our side then, just start waiting for that thing, right? So we should be able to go to like, maybe we'll for now just kind of hack it so that we go like open document or open path, whatever the fuck this thing was called, open. What the fuck is this thing called? We do populate DB nodes, reference populator calls open path on all of these things. This is source open, nope, open file, here we go, open file, here we go. And so here, if we're just like, what if we waited for a response? And we say, maybe we wait for a response that matches the URI that we just sent. So we need some sort of like publish diagnostics notification is what's coming out of that. We need to create this thing. So publish diagnostics notification. This is going to be publish diagnostics notification. This is going to be something with the name publish diagnostics. And we are looking for params that have URI. Like this. Did we remove sleep? I think so. I can't remember. No, we did not. No, we did not. But I don't think it really matters. Oh, I guess it does matter at this point if we're trying to test if it fixes the problem. Good point. Okay. So here we should be able to like std debug assert that response that the response URI or the response dot method is equal to text document dot publish diagnostics. I guess really what we should say is if this is not the case, then this is not something we care about, is probably a better way of handling this. Otherwise, I guess actually resp value, we probably need to free this thing. Okay, and then we probably want to check that the URI is equal to the URI that we asked for. And if that is true, we can say std debug print got a URI, and we'll even write it down just in case we fucked something up. We probably didn't, but just in case. Resp value params URI, boom, boom. And we'll break up the loop. So now we should not do anything until we've received this publish diagnostics notification from the server, indicating that he's processed the file. Right? Boom, 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 boom. And update recording. So we should see in here, diagnostics, oh, fuck. We see got a URI here for build zig, for bzig, for resolve build file, but no, this is not, a.zig, and here, main.zig. So at this point, he sure knows about main.zig, right? He's told us that he knows about main.zig. And now we run our find references. They take fucking forever to resolve because we're in debug mode. I think we're like at like 10x slower than we were before. But we'll wait for him to complete. We'll give him a few seconds. He's almost there. 17 out of 18. And hopefully, so if we are following the same thing that I saw while I was playing with this yesterday, it should still be broken. We would like for it not to be broken at this point, but it probably still is. Interestingly, that does not seem to be the case. Interesting. So let's try not using our slow ass debug build, because I think that could be changing the results a little bit. So let's use the fast, uber fast, typical ZLS and see if that is still causing problems. Okay, here we go. So this is what I saw yesterday. I implemented this and we saw this does not fix our problem. But we thought it should. Right, because we have, in fact, at this point, we do have a recording that says he knows about main, right? And so then the question becomes, okay, so if he's not processing this file synchronously, why? What's happening? What is going on here? And so what I did yesterday was I just looked at top. I just opened up CPU and I was like, well, maybe he's like railing CPU to do something, right? And if we go into our main again, and we add back that 10-second sleep. Right here. And we run up, we have to build first. We build first. And we say, update recording. In this 10-second sleep, Zig sitting here at 100% CPU. That's weird. Okay. And then nothing's happening. But then ZLS is now cranking CPU at the part where he's resolving references. And Zig build test. Give him a sec. Boom, he's working in. So my guess at this point is that somewhere in ZLS, they are calling Zig build in order to resolve references between files or something. And this is kind of where I poked around the source code a little bit more than I've shown right now, but this is kind of like my current level of understanding is just like, I think he's running a build.zig somewhere and like, it's not obvious. Oh, I tried one more thing. We'll show. I think I found somewhere. I think I found in here, there's a Zig build. Somewhere they call Zig, right? As we saw in top. And I believe I found it. I guess I kind of assumed that it would be related to like did open. In here, they open document. And surely this triggers some sort of asynchronous behavior, right? Surely like when they open a file, they must do something. So they push this generate diagnostics, but this is only after we added this, which is this is not always the case. The same CPU behavior was happening even without that. Here we see some sort of like check to see if this file is already open. But if it's not already open, this is where the actual work is done. Create a store document. Okay. In here, what's happening? They like create a document. They say is build file for logging purposes. So all of this stuff is kind of like hash map manipulation and logging, which means that the real work is probably in create document. Create document, they say if it is a build file, they get or load build file. Otherwise, which is only the case sometimes. It might be the case in our thing. I'm not sure. But let's say that we don't pass in the build file. He says collect potential build files here. And if there is a potential build file, he says has been checked this thing in an empty. This is an unresolved build file. Okay. Okay, so here's an unresolved build file, but it has been checked is he's initializing this thing with empty. So unresolved by default. So somewhere here, he must try to resolve this thing. Uh, yeah, so here he probably calls get or load build file here. And in this get or load build file, does he like call Zig with it or something? Build file is equal to this. Get associated build file URI, which returns a union enum of none, unresolved, or resolved, which means that whoever calls this might choose to do something. Collect includers is kind of interesting here. If it's resolved, then he tries collect build include files, but if he's not resolved, he just returns false. Resolve C import. Ah, okay, wait. Here we see something about like exe path. So where's this called? Resolve C import. This is in some sort of like AST walking. Resolve type of node. I see. So they're doing some sort of like lazy generation of this thing, I guess. Right? When they do resolve C import, this is looking kind of interesting where they have like some sort of like Zig exe path. Where is this used? This is probably the kind of interesting part. Oh, here we go. Prepare build runner args. Here we go. So he calls Zig build with this like special build runner. Okay. And I assume that the build runner. Where does this build runner? Like, does this have like a default path? Config.zig. Build runner path. Equivalent to executable directory build runner.zig. Where does this like build runner.zig come from? Write file, build runner.zig. Build runner source, get build runner file. Okay, what does this shit do? Aha. 0.12.0 zig. This is the build runner. So this guy is like a custom wrapper. I guess this is like the main function. When you type zig build, he probably calls this file, and this file runs the build, probably. I would guess that when you have like your build.zig that has a function build, this guy's in charge of like calling him. Would be my guess. Maybe not. I'm not sure, but he's like injecting himself into the build somehow. And probably just doing all sorts of shit. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? It's kind of interesting though. Kind of interesting. Extract build information from builder. So he creates. Ah, I see. So he creates a std build with the build root directory, and that guy probably resolves it. And it does all sorts of like extraction where he like walks the steps and finds their like dependencies and all that sort of shit. Okay, cool. So presumably this, I would bet that Zig build must be where we end up railing Zig CPU or railing our CPU with Zig for a little bit. I would bet. So who calls this? Prepare build runner args. Load build configuration from the build file URI. So here is where he actually runs a thing. So can we just put like, it would be nice to put breakpoints here. I would love to run this shit in GDB. I think it's going to be hard to run GDB directly because of the fact that standard input and output is supposed to go to our process, but we might be able to attach to GDB. So can you like wait for GDB attach in a program somewhere? Is that like something that you can do? Raise a sig stop. Oh, and then you can also just like set the variable. You could do like a while loop where you set a variable when you get in with GDB. sig stop seems kind of reasonable. Can we like just hack this to like raise sig stop on main? Like if I'm just like signal like raise stood POSIX sig stop. Does that do what I want? That'd be kind of sick. That would be kind of sick. Because then we could just like launch this shit and attach with GDP externally and it would just continue, hopefully. So if I call like zig out bin zig ZLS, he does like immediately stop himself, which is a good sign. And so now if I run like this thing, maybe we are not using the right one. Home streamer work ZLS zig out bin ZLS. Okay. So update recording. So now if I just like look for ZLS, so we can probably like p grep for zig out bin ZLS. Unlucky. Can I p grep for like his name? Maybe the grep doesn't like these slashes. It would be nice if I could like just make like an attach command that kind of worked, you know? Because if I do p grep ZLS, he's gonna give me like all sorts of shit. I want like literally just this one, right? This is all I want. So I could grep like do this. I could do like awk ZLS. I think. How do you do this? Yeah, okay, and then you could do like print. Is it like this? I think it's like this. Yeah, and then in here we say, what do we actually want? We want like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th field. And then here we just change this to like zig out bin. Okay. Then can I feed this into GDB? How do I like attach to process? GDB attach to process. Be kind of cool. GDB-P. So we can do like GDB-P this shit. Ptrace, no such process. Fuck. 6? No. Hold on. Maybe it's actually 2. It's probably that one. Maybe we shouldn't just like fucking try random numbers, but you know. And then we probably also have to specify what we're trying to debug, right? So it's got to be like zig out bin ZLS, right? It's got to be. Ptrace, operation not permitted. Fuck. So we need to like GDB allow ptrace. There's like some sort of like this. This is what I've seen before. Can we just like turn this shit off? I need to do this off screen because I think I need to have sudo permissions to turn that shit on. So I'm just gonna quickly log into my other account and go like sudo echo 1 and then t it into that shit. And then it's actually echo 1 sudo t, not the other way around. Not that you guys can see that shit. Okay, so hopefully now we can try that again. Operation not permitted. Fuck. Did I not fix it? Proxys. Kernel. Yeah, I'm a ptrace scope. I think I echoed 1 instead of 0. which is kind of funny. I did echo 1 instead of 0. Hold on, hold on. Okay. 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 So now if we try to set a breakpoint wherever the fuck we were trying to... What is happening now? We're breaking on every single... Are we fucking sig stopping in a loop? No, we're literally just sig stopping on every clone. That's annoying. Is that my fault? It might be. Sig stop. No, I literally did this just like on the first line of main, so I feel like that shouldn't be a problem. Maybe we just have to ignore those really quick. Could be. So can we be like GDB ignore signal? There's a way to do this. GDB should not. Okay, so I can type no stop. Handle no stop. Is that what he says? No. Info signals. Ah, here we go. So is there like... So handle signal no stop is probably... So I want probably like handle sig stop no stop. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we're in GDB in our program. That's really good. Okay, so now we can try to do like let's try to get a little fancy here. We'll write a little GDB script that sets a breakpoint wherever the fuck I actually want to, wherever we were trying to look. I got kind of distracted. I don't really remember what we were trying to debug. It was probably the build runner, wherever the fuck that was. We were looking for like build, which must have been this. No, it wasn't this one. It was a different one. We were looking for like build runner. Here, prepare build runner arcs. We wanted to know if this is called and if this is like fucking maxing out our CPU, right? So we wanted to breakpoint here to see if we were getting hit. So update recording, he should be sig stopped. Then we, oh, and then in our run.gdb, we have to say, what was it? It was like handle sig stop no stop. These were what we wanted to do. And then we want to continue probably. So I think we can do like gdb run.gdb, and I think, oh yeah, oh, it's so fucking sick, man. We fucking did it. We're set up as fuck, dude. Okay, so now we can see where this is getting called from. So load build configuration is being called from invalidate build file worker, right? And we should probably be able to see that like that situation where we were getting like CPU spammed with Zig should happen like now, right? Yeah, here we're seeing that 100% Zig CPU usage, right? And so we found something. We found something. It'd be interesting to know if at this point, with all of that like breakpointing and shit that we just did, if we still see it being broken. I guess at some point we kind of tried the I guess we're still in try obvious workarounds actually, because I think there's one. The next obvious workaround is to try to trigger this same code in the same thread. I'm pretty sure that I saw that somewhere. I'm pretty sure actually. Let's so we know this is being called, and we know it's being called from invalidate build file worker, right? So I think that what I saw here yesterday, I got here from a different path when I was trying this off stream. But off stream, I tried setting this single threaded call, right? Because if we look for here, if we look for this invalidate build file thing, And we just like run all this shit again. Hello? Did I get this wrong? Save? Is this not? Oh, I probably breakpoint on the air defer by mistake instead, which probably just means that it didn't get hit. Probably need to breakpoint on a different line. I hope. Otherwise, then what I did yesterday was wrong and confusing. Okay. Yeah, okay, so here we're on invalidate build file, and I think I saw that this invalidate build file is in fact called from this create document, right? This create document, which is called by open document, which is called by open document handler. So this is kind of like our open file path, right? And so if the like build spam that like if that like processing of the build file that happens asynchronously and is slow because it rails Zig CPU, if that's what fixes the resolution that we're not seeing, then if we call that shit on the same thread in single threaded mode, then it should just work, right? So I think what I tried yesterday. Oh my god, there's so many windows open. Was I just tried rebuilding this thing with they have like a single threaded option here. So I think we can just do this. And that should allow us to run in single threaded mode, I think. And theoretically then our open document handler should not return until Zig build has like railed our CPU, right? That's kind of like the expected behavior now. So now if we look at this like top down here, I guess we have to do our GDB attach, continue. Oh, here, what's happening now? Exclusive lock, so it's probably just fucking broken. And I hit this yesterday, actually, I'm remembering now. And I remember the cause is that the document store says, I have this like read write lock. And this read write lock has a single threaded lock. And this single threaded lock will check for deadlocks because this thing is now not happening on another thread, he might deadlock. Ew, gross. And so what I did yesterday was I was just like, oh, what if we just like mocked this shit out? What if we just like said like, if we're single threaded, use mock lock, else use a real lock. Because if we're single thread, we don't have any real locking to do, probably, right? Maybe. And so now all I have to do is look for like usages of this like lock. So he has lock, unlock. Actually, we can probably just look for compile failures. Oh, but this is gonna take forever. No check step. No check step. I guess we could look for the API of the RW lock, though. We could just copy this shit. It's kind of like probably these, right? Probably. So try lock, unlock, try lock shared, unlock shared. That's actually not a lot. That's not a huge surface area. So it's just, this is now mock lock, muck luck, and then here we're just like, we succeeded. Nothing to do here. Nothing to do here. Return true. We always succeed. Probably. This is void. This is void. And then these guys are unused. So we go womp 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 womp. All right. So hopefully that compiles now and fixes that problem. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Give him a sec, and we run again. We go again, baby. Oh, hold on. We do need to compile in single threaded mode. I forgot. My bad. My bad. Womp, womp, womp. This is my like first experience with Zig on a like large project, and I don't know if like the compile times are kind of results of them being like the whatever ZLS is doing being slow, or if it's just slow. But why was that so fast? Okay, so I would have expected to see Zig rail or CPU there. What the fuck just happened? God damn it. Failed to load build configuration out of memory. Fuck. What sucks? Can we see the error trace on that thing? I don't think I noticed this yesterday. Or we worked around it in some other way that I don't remember. But failed. What was it? What was the log? Failed to load build configuration. Failed to load build configuration. Okay, so here, can we just go like error trace? And then there's some way to like log these things. There's some way. Error return trace. Here we go. Built-in stack trace. There's some way to like just fucking auto walk that stack trace in the standard library, maybe. Dump current stack trace. Dump stack trace. Here we go. If trace. What is this? Is std debug. Dump stack trace t. All right. Maybe that will help us a little bit. Oh, he's mad because I need to dereference this. Okay, fine. Fine, we'll dereference if that's what you want. Bitch. So stupid. So stupid. Gotta shut the fuck up sometimes, man. This is the problem with I just say whatever I think. And sometimes you shouldn't say what you think. Just a hot take here. Sometimes you just gotta shut the fuck up. Okay. So, what happened here? Here we should see our backtrace on that failure. Yeah, here we go. This is the wrong one. Hello, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Here. Bro. Return overflow. If there's an overflow, return out of memory. I guess this is in. I guess that's actually kind of reasonable though. This is in the allocator. So what the fuck is causing this to allocate with so much capacity? It must be here. Document store 1027, right? It's gotta be. Prepare build runner args at 1048. Okay. What is going on here? Document store 1048, we said, right? Prepare build runner args. We're saying in here, one of these fucking things is just like mega big. Build options.len at 1027, right? Oopsies. So can we breakpoint here and just kind of take a little peek skis? Like, what the fuck is going on? What is going on? What's going on? Okay. Build options, len. Oh, geez, Louise. That's a big fucking number, man. Okay. Jesus. Okay. Build options. Yeah, okay, that would do it, huh? Little uninitialized memory. What's a mock lock and why were you replacing RW locks? Because I was compiling with single threaded mode, which I just assume is broken because there's some deadlocking where the invalidate, like the function that's usually called another thread, locks some locks on the same thread. If I build in single threaded mode, there should be no threads, so the locks don't need to exist. The lock should do nothing. That's why I've got a mock lock in there. It's because I was just kind of like hucking that shit in there to like prevent us from crashing on deadlock behavior. If it was a recursive lock, it would be fine. Where'd you find this code? Like in the ZLS repo? Okay, so why the fuck? It's just like build config is like totally fucking invalid here. So this comes from build config as build file, build associated config. Okay, build files dot get URI. Okay. So get context. Oh, sure, the context is undefined, I guess, for some reason. But sure, build files dot get URI should return a valid build file. Okay, so can we maybe look at that breakpoint again? It'd be kind of nice if we had like a third window here, huh? One for the source code and then one for the debugger and then one for the output. Pretty sure that big number was XA or XFFFF. Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure. Okay. So in here, maybe this guy's gonna be debugger. So we run here, attach the debugger. So a mock lock just does nothing in this case, it's just a dummy thing. Exactly. Yep. Why didn't this do what I wanted? Because I'm in the wrong folder. Because I'm in the wrong folder. Should mocklock.lock return false? Maybe, I don't know. I think that we want to return. I think we want to indicate that we succeeded. I think. I mean, it could be that like my hack is doing something super invalid. It's very possible. Okay, let's confirm the theory that this is uninitialized memory. Sure is. And then we wanted to maybe look at maybe what's in self get build files. So we look at self build files. So this guy has some entries. Length 1, capacity 8. Okay, can we like who inserts here? Who inserts into this thing? Probably this get or load build file. Can we like look up the stack here? So probably before invalidate build file, in create build file, I would assume is where this stuff gets set. Just by names, that kind of seems reasonable. So in here, first of all, can we like walk up the stack here to see? Yeah, okay, so here we have like found a build file for ourselves. Cool. And somewhere we must inject that into our map. Unless this invalidate build file is like running at the wrong spot and we like haven't injected them into the map yet. That's like a possible. Oh, okay. Wait. There's like an implicit race here, right? Because here in the single threaded mode, they said can invalidate build file goes here. No, sorry. Where I got lost. So in here, in create build file, we create the build file. He's not in the map yet, but then we call invalidate build file, which in single threaded mode runs right now. But in single threaded mode, this thing is not set until after this function returns. So this is kind of like the wrong spot for this, to be honest. Because this is like an immediate implicit race, except for the fact that the lock is probably not a race on the multi-threaded version, would be my guess. Because in the multi-threaded version, they probably have the lock locked before this, right? So up here, when we create the build file, we have the lock locked here. The lock is locked. Which means that the function that's invalidate build worker, who I presume also tries to lock the lock, I would assume. Maybe here. Yeah, here he locks the lock again. So this will not work. This will not return until it's ready. So we've kind of like introduced our own race. Maybe that's why I was deadlocking a single thread. Seems pretty likely, right? Seems pretty likely. So maybe we kind of just hack this shit for now. And we know that we literally have this like one case. This is literally only called in one spot. So we can just do this. We can do this invalidate here. Right? And then here we need to make sure that we unlock the lock first. And then like this is easier because I don't know if you're allowed to double unlock. So this is probably the easiest way to do this. I wonder why this wasn't caught before, but nobody runs in single thread. Yeah, I bet nobody runs in single thread. Like, and maybe this is fixed on master. Right, we're on 0.13 right now, so it's very like I'm not really concerned. This is the type of shit that like I expect to be broken. To be honest, like if I was at work and like was working on my work code base and this type of shit was broken, I'd be like, yeah, that makes it like, of course. Like, who the fuck does this? Like, this is just not an option anybody uses, I bet. Did I save all? And maybe that means that this mock lock idea was just a really bad idea. Maybe we should just be fixing the deadlock we were hitting, and maybe this is the only case the deadlock was being hit, and we're just idiots. Very likely. Very, very likely. Fuck. What's he pissed about? Found. Oh. I guess we'll do like another like Rutro. Unused capture. Fine. Error name here. Alright, let's see if that fuck never fucking works. This is obviously an S, not an E. Maybe. Maybe. And I guess we run our GDB script again. Okay. So now we did open the document now. I think that we probably actually saw that ZLS spam if I wasn't sorry, the like CPU issues. Issues, sorry, is another wrong word. We probably saw GDB we probably saw that here, yeah, Zig is now being run. That's really big for us. Zig is run inline. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, baby. And now the question is will that fix our problem? Because, okay, so off stream yesterday, I tried this single threaded thing and it didn't fix my problem, but it's probably because I didn't notice that like invalid memory access. So this I didn't do yesterday. So it could be that this fixes our problem. That's like very possible. It would be nice to prove it because with debug mode, this shit was so slow. It was kind of hard to like it could have happened anyway. But let's see. We'll give him a little bit of extra time. Because that's kind of what triggered yesterday my like, oh, this is actually a really interesting problem to solve on stream. Is that like the thing that you would think solves the problem is like the build script being processed didn't actually do anything sometimes. But if it was just I was bugged out and didn't notice, it would be nice if this fixes it. In which case, then we could just try to find some sort of workaround. So this guy done or what? What's it doing? Oh, there we go. Okay. So the question here now is, we run our test now. Please tell me it works. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. Okay, wait, that's so big for us. So I think that we can make the assumption now. I think it would be a reasonable assumption to make that the build file parsing is an important part of this. I don't know what this thing does yet. So we could maybe like take a look and see if we can convince ourselves that this is in fact important. So if we look at the way that the references are resolved, we can try to gather if that build file processing is important. So here he calls this like references. We look at like, I search for the string of text document references because this is like the name of the function we call when we look for references from the language server. We're just making an assumption here that this is the right spot. Needs up to YouTube timestamp. Yeah, I don't really know what I want to say we're doing. I guess we are kind of understanding. I guess we're kind of on this. Okay. It worked? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark? Okay. So the references handler. We're going to make the assumption that this is being parsed from where we're calling. I'm pretty sure it is. In here, what does he do? He says, let me get a handle for my URL. So I guess like somebody is calling me with like a file line position, and this is converting that into something else. So he's got like a document store, which is probably a list of like all the open documents. And this handle is an AST. So this is a file. He's saying, given this file, what is like the Zig AST plus some extra shit for that thing, right? He's got like the URI, the AST, like imports from other files, okay, and then like private. This is kind of nice. I'm glad that I've seen someone else do this. This is a pattern that I really like, by the way. In these like languages where you have like no public or private member variables, the idea of just being like, look, you can look at this shit, go ahead, but like, we don't really, this isn't part of our public API, so we're hiding it behind this flag, where this stuff is part of the public API. It's like kind of like a nice little, I like it. I like it. That's what I do. And, you know, as we all know, if we like things that we like. Okay, so then he says, give me some index. So I've got some sort of like, this is the source code associated with the file. This is the position that the cursor's at. So I'm like saying, give me references to this thing at this file line number. Okay, so then this gives me like an index, which is probably the AST index, I would think. So like which node in the AST is this thing would be my guess. What does this return? Line start index plus line byte. Oh no, so this gives me the index in the source file. So this is like assuming that the file has no lines anymore, fuck lines, we're literally just being like, what byte position is this? And then given the byte position, we find the Zig token for that thing in the AST. Okay. So then we like ask for his name, right? Which is just like, given this thing in the AST, what is it actually like? What word do I want to associate with that thing? And then the analyzer, I assume, is kind of like the guy who actually resolves references, would be maybe my guess. I don't really know. And position context gives me some sort of position context, which is like, I see, like, what am I? What am I? So I'm like something in the AST. Which of these things am I? Am I a field? Am I a variable? Am I like a symbol? Am I a string literal? Okay, sure. Then we initialize an analyzer with this stuff, with dangerous comp time experiments. Do not enable. Do not enable. Dangerous. Then what's happening here? So our position context is the declaration that we're trying to match for. We are in one of these cases. I don't know which one. I would assume that if we're looking for like function references, it's probably, I would guess this. I would guess that they just are calling functions variables. But we could breakpoint here and look. Why not? Why not? Let's see what this let's see what this guy's doing. Let's just take a little peek skis. A little peek skis never hurt anybody. Okay, so we have to wait for him now to run the whole build. And then now what happens? Why did my breakpoint not get hit? Oh, here we go. It was just taking a while. I see. Okay. Why does Steam Web Helper on Mic take 20% right now? Is Real Mic Gaming? No, it's literally just like just having Steam open just like fucks your CPU, and I should have closed it. Var access. Yeah, we are a var access. Okay. So we are in here. Get symbol global. Look up symbol global. And this actually just tells us, I don't think that this is the references. I think this is asking us what thing are we, right? So I would guess just by looking at this that we're like in analyzer, we're like here, right? Where the cursor is. And then I go to definition on this thing to find his declaration. And I bet that's what this is doing, right? Because this says decal here. That'd be my guess. Which we can confirm now by just hitting next a couple times. And we can look at the P decal is decal. Okay, it's not helpful. Are we in the wrong spot? Yeah, why the... Hello? Okay, well, that's cool. But we could look at decal with handle here. So this is like a declaration, which is some node in the AST, which we can probably assume is some like, is this a union? This is a union. So we're probably an AST node. That would be my guess here, just looking at these. But we can maybe try to infer by going into this thing. So we can look at here. We're in this references path here. Okay. It's fine. Okay, we're looking for symbol references. We're in here. This is where he does the actual work, right? Because here he's turning an array list of locations. So this is probably where the actual reference finding is done. And we can maybe look at what this like decal handle is. Maybe here GDB will be a little less rude to us. There we go. So we are an AST node, like we guessed. Okay. So what does this guy do? So he tries to figure, we're in this case, I think, right? We should be able to say breakpoint here. Yep. So we are in the case where we're in AST node, and what does he do? He collects references for the current handle, which is a document handle. Okay. Collect references, and then gather references if workspace. So this is like single file. This is like literal like less rest of the world would be my guess. Okay. And then this 0 here is suspicious. Now, based off the AST parsing stuff that we've done before, I know that the AST root node is 0. So my guess here is that he's looking at the document handle, right? In this handle, he has the AST, and I bet you that this is saying like walk the whole AST in some way, based off of this AST iterate children recursive I saw. So it looks like he has like, what is this? This has like a callback function that he calls. So reference node is probably the most like interesting part here. What is this like? What is this thing? This is a builder. So on the end of this thing, we return builder locations. I see. So this is like some sort of like stateful thing. This builder is going to do all of the work. He's never going to return anything. It's just like every time you call something, he's going to like append stuff to his own internal locations. So this collect locations, I would assume reference node shoves things into locations. On add. Sure. So is this called by like reference node here? Builder add. Yes. Okay. So he says, given this AST index, given this node in the file that we are looking at, what am I looking at? So if I am an identifier, oh, no fucking way. Wait, no way. Okay. So if I understand what this is doing, to find references, I think that ZLS is walking the AST, hitting go to definition on every single fucking thing it finds, and then if that is the thing we're looking for, he adds it to the list of references. Dude, that's so funny. I'm pretty fucking sure. Can we like I would love to look at like the definition of like what type of thing. So struct initializers. We have struct initializers, struct field access, and then identifiers. So any identifier is going to hit this path. And then what about like field access? What's going on here? If the decal handle equals child, what is like, I maybe missed like what like decal handle is set by. Oh, child, no, child is the thing we have here. So here we look up the symbol. Yeah. Dude, that's so funny. Okay, so wait, that makes sense. So here we're saying, yo, walk the AST of this file, go to definition on every single thing in the file, and if that is the same thing as like our, if the definition is our definition, then add it to the references. And so the part that we're looking at here is like the workspace part, right? The thing that was missing was in other files. Other files we're not getting hit, which means that gather references here is the more interesting part. And here, he must. Yeah. So he loops over dependencies keys. So what is dependencies here? Dependencies is we collect dependencies for something. I don't know. Dependencies must be files that use us, right? It must be. If we were to breakpoint here, can we like maybe like do something interesting here? Like breakpoint maybe a couple lines into the loop. Can we like del br breakpoint here, continue? And can we look at like the URI? Okay, so we see standard library.zig. That's not what we want. Oh, I see. We're looking at. So if we're in build.zig, our current handle is build.zig. Build.zig imports. Oh, this is the wrong fucking file. Hold on. He imports standard library. So I bet you if we hit continue, we'll also see built-in. No, we're seeing something else. Okay. We are seeing a.zig. What was the other thing we're looking at? Current handle. So build.zig depends on a.zig? How is that possible? That's interesting. I wouldn't have expected that. I would not have expected that. What declaration are we even trying to process right now? Can we look at like what this request is even for? It might be interesting to filter this breakpoint for when we are working on specifically the thing that we care about, the failure that we want. So can we wait for like can we do like request payload God, this is so hard to look at. What are my options here? References, text document, URI. Can we like check if this is equal to, I don't know, like, can you GDB do like comparison of strings? Is that like a thing we're allowed to do? Stir comp? Ugh. Why is there just an ad of some lady in the, like a picture of some lady in the middle of this? It's like a fucking, oh, and she's over here too. Cool. Fuck off. Actress spills Hollywood trick for slim body. I don't care. I don't care. I just want to know how to use GDB. Why do you think that because I'm looking up fucking GDB commands that I want like fucking ads for Ozempic? Like, oh my god, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. The okay, it's fine, we're fine. So this guy's just saying like use stir comp, essentially. Is there really no like stir? Wait, what's that? This guy's claiming something about. Okay. Does this exist? Oh, it does. Okay, cool. So we can do like. We can do a stir equal of this to like this. Okay, we're getting somewhere. He doesn't like that. Probably because this thing's not like null terminated. It's not null terminated. Does he have like a length one? I hate my life. Oh, we can do memeek. Stir and comp. But he doesn't have like a stir n in here in this like convenience functions. Do I have like? Yeah, it doesn't exist. Oh, we could like reduce our test case somehow. We could write like a test case that only calls references on the thing I care about. That's probably easier, huh? Instead of walking the whole database. Yeah, let's just do that. We'll just change the calling code here to only call references on one thing. That'll just make our lives easier. So here, when we run this shit, I guess we just look for like, if node.name is equal, node name is different than, oh my god, it's like, we have it in our test. It's this. So if this is not this, continue. So now we should only ever call find references for this like one special case that our test is failing on. Okay, let's try that. Let's try that. And then let's try to figure out where the fuck were we in here? Symbol references. So this is where we want to break point, I guess. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. We're just fucking, we're trying stuff. Okay. So we open build.zig. He continues on. Eventually, we should hit a breakpoint because we should try to find references in B. Okay. Okay, so up, up. P request. No, up, down, down. P request. Okay. We are in a.zig. Good. We are at payload. No. P request dot payload dot references dot text document. Is that it? URI len? Is there not more in there? I'm confused. Do we not need to know, like, our request? Surely he needs to know where. Yeah. Oh, it's outside of text document. I see. So this is position. Line 23, character 11, which should map to our test case. Source lib a.zig. So line 23, character 11 is, it's off by one, but this is the right one. So we're looking for some union do something. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. We're in the right spot. And we are trying to prove to ourselves what these, it was something about these like gather references, I think. I think we wanted to know what our dependencies were for this file. So I think we were doing something that was like d printf. I guess it was like break here. Okay. So we wanted to print like URI. So we're looking at standard library. We're looking at main. We're looking at b.zig. Okay, so we hit, that's the three dependencies for a.zig. Now, does that make sense? b.zig, res, test source, lib b.zig. So b.zig does depend on mod a. Okay. And main.zig doesn't include mod a. The fact that it's got standard library in there is a little bit confusing. That actually probably explains some weird behavior I've seen before, where the standard library gets like included in references to things that it's not supposed to. I bet that doesn't really make sense, but the fact that we're seeing main and b depend on this thing, but not build, that lines up. Okay, so these dependencies from this inspection looks to be things that depend on the file that we are currently looking at, right? And so theoretically, this is where the problem lies. I would bet that when the thing fails, that we haven't quite figured that out yet, right? So where do we start slapping things into this guy? So presumably we are not in the no build file case. Oh no, I see. This is, we are trying to use a build file, but if there is no build file, we break out here, right? We say like, get the build file or else we break because there's no build file. Okay, but this is the interesting part. This is the interesting part. So in the failure case that we were hitting with multi-threaded mode, it would be interesting to know which failure path we're on, right? So we know, well, we suspect, we don't know shit. We suspect that invalidate build file function is the important one, right? Invalidate build file. This is the thing that we are now calling inline that we weren't before. And so this guy calls like invalidate build file worker, load build configuration, returns a parsed build config. Okay. Then he says get build file, which returns a pointer to a build file. And if this is nullable, it's null. So if he's like, the build file doesn't exist yet. Sure. So when we find the build file as part of the open work, if I remember correctly. Then we find the build file associated with him, I think, and then invalidate him or something. It was like something in this like did open path. Open document handler opens a document, who creates and stores a document, who calls create document. I can't remember where this like invalidate build file thing went. It was on this path somewhere. Create document. Oh, here. Associated build file. And then was this lazily accessed somewhere else on like references or something? I can't remember. It must have been. It must have been. So this is on save document handler or this other case. Update configuration. It's definitely not either of these. Definitely not either of those. Here, get or load build file. Which is in create document. Oh, we were hitting on this path because we were adding the build file. But if we weren't, it would be somewhere else. Sure. So get or load build file. This is the interesting part. So we are trying to decide if get or load build file populates file dependencies. That's what we were trying to find out. So we were trying to see if this invalidate build file thing, when he calls set build config, there's not a lot here. It's literally just this like config file. And what's in this? Deps build routes. Okay. Packages. Okay, and that's not really that useful. Includers or available option. Interesting. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at here, to be honest. So we're looking at build available. Okay, I don't think, and none of this seems that relevant to me, to be honest. All of this seems to be doing is just allowing us to look for like include paths and packages, which we're not really using here. We're using like, oh, maybe we are. Oh, we are. Hold on. Maybe we res, maybe code map, res, test, build take. We have modules, right? Because for main to use module A, Wait, hold on. Res, test, main. Source main. He's importing this thing as mod A. Okay, which means that we cannot resolve mod A until the build file has been processed, because otherwise, how would we know where mod A goes? I'm pretty fucking damn. That's a pretty strong suggestion that this build config in here must have like, is module the same as package, right? Name and path. Sounds likely. Can we look at that in some way? Like update. Quit. Yes, quit. I want to look to see if that package has mod A goes to mod A.zig. Because if so, that's a pretty strong indicator that this is doing what we expect. And that our references will not be valid until the build file is completed. So where the fuck? This is in document store. Impl. Can we go like up? So if we're in like references, do we have access to a document store in here? Symbol. Gather references is called by like here. So this is where we are. Do we have our like document store in here? Surely somebody has the document store. Server maybe? Server document store? Server document store? Yeah. Impl. Where was that like build? Now we just need to figure out where the fuck that build config was. This is in build file, which is in part of document store. But these are like build files. Okay, sure. So document store build files. This should have one entry. Yep. But I don't know how to like extract them out of this like fucking hash map thing. So maybe we can look for where that build file would be used naturally in like gather references maybe. Probably in like collect dependencies, right? Surely in collect dependencies, he must look at the build files. He's got it. Import URIs are not set yet. Okay, get associated build file URI. Collect build file package. Yeah. Wait. This sounds like what I want, baby. Okay, can we like breakpoint here? And then can we look at self? Yes. Okay. Print star self. What's in here? Oh, please, baby. So we were looking at for like packages or something. Impl. Config. Then we need to like, I think we want to look at config data because it's a nullable. Value. Packages. Was it in build config? Had like packages. Okay, hell yeah. Pointer. We look at the three of these things. So this is an array of packages. So each one of these is a name and a path. Yes. Okay. So if we look at the three of these, we have the name root, length 4, goes to path main.zig. Oh, yeah. Okay. Then the name mod A, length 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, goes to a.zig, and the name of mod B goes to b.zig. Okay, this is all making sense. I think I understand now. So all we have to do in order for this to work correctly is just wait for the fucking build file to get parsed. which happens asynchronously usually. And so all we have to do, yeah, okay, I'm like fairly fucking confident. I'm fairly confident that in the failure case, we just don't get here. We must hit the case where like either the build file doesn't exist yet, but I think it should. It's just that the it hasn't finished parsing itself yet, which means that the like build config, which is set on invalidate build file worker, right? This thing that does the work, it's literally just that this build config hasn't been set yet, so the package paths aren't set yet, so we can't find them. That's it. That's it. Hell yeah. So all we have to do is literally just after, we just have to wait. We just have to wait. So, I think that there's a way we can do this that is probably useful to like the Zig ZLS users as a whole. I was looking the other day at this like progress LSP parameter thing. They have this like message type of progress. And this thing I think is like fairly generic. I don't understand how it works yet, but I believe that this is like a notification that's like emitted by the server with these like progress params where he has like a token and a value, right? This is just like literally just like I've got some shit, right? So I don't really know how other people use this thing yet, but I've seen this used in like if I run like Visual Studio Code with Clang, I've seen this used as a way to like notify in the status bar, like, yo, bro, we've processed 500 out of 1,000 files. And I think that you're allowed to just kind of do whatever you want here. And so what we could do is we could like hack in, we could find a way to like flag if we have completed processing our build.zig files through this mechanism. I think that we would have to look very carefully at this thing. But if we did that, then like ZLS in Visual Studio Code or whatever could like show, hey, like we're not done indexing yet. Which is maybe useful, right? Which is maybe useful. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that level of understanding. I think that we've like found our fix. Now, let's say that we didn't want to do things with that. Let's say we just want to like hack in whatever the cheapest hack we could make is. Let's see if there's something that exists in the code base that we could hook into that is called after invalidate references, right? Invalidate, what was it? It was like invalidate build file worker. So is it possible that this guy does something at the end of this thing? Set build configuration seems like kind of like the entry point here. And it does not look like there's any sort of like state notification here, right? I don't see any like condition variable broadcast or anything like this, right? So I wonder if there's a way for us to like poll the language server until this is complete. What about when he like, yeah, because what he does, he loads build configuration. What about in here? Does he do something at the end of this Zig run? Parse options, parse from slice. Yeah, nothing crazy, nothing that interesting is going on in here. He just literally like runs a thing, extracts the parameters. Okay, so that's not it. Yeah, there's we would have to, I think that we would have to do something like here, like notify. I think it's the only way. Maybe what's a reasonable thing to do right now is if we could hack in anything to prove to ourselves that we can fix this in the multi-threaded release case. I think that's probably the play. So can we just say like it is 013950 and we'll just say like literally any hack fix would be a huge win for us. Okay. So what about like this like thread pool? This thread pool, I believe, is only used for this one case. And can we like wait? Can we like ask if this thread pool is like doing anything? He has like a wait group is done. Um, which means that he needs a wait. Which like what is a wait group here? Spawn wait group. It would be nice if we could like signal in some way. Maybe we just try to say, has this thing ever been fucking set? This set build config, does he have like, is his initial value null? It is. So maybe we just kind of say like in server.zig, somewhere he must have like a main loop, right? So we're kind of in like, I don't know, server loop, right? Can we like just do something fucking hacky for now? Where we can go like notified is false, right? And we can say like if server document store dot impl. Nope. What was it? It was yeah. Build files, items. Nope. Iter. Okay, var build file iter is this. Okay. If we have literally anything in here, and entry dot value dot impl dot config. Does this thing have to be like locked? Probably does, right? Surely. So we probably want to do like server document store build files lock defer this thing unlock. Okay. So I think there was also some sort of like valid thing in here. Build files. I think there was like resolved or not resolved or something. Oh, it looks fine. Sure, seems fine. So I think we should just be able to go like if this notified is not equal to notified equals true, and then we have to like send the notification. So how do we do that? Something like this. Can we just be like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, build file parsed. Like, can we just like fucking slap that shit out there? Who calls and then like, I don't fucking know, man. Let's just like fucking see if that does something. I don't know. Then on our side, I guess, okay, let's see if this builds. Fuck. If this is not null and notified, and then this is like, is this going to like wait for something? Where's like our sleep in this? He's got like a job queue here. Does this thing is like will fail if not. Where's like our like surely like somebody somewhere must be like sleeping. I'm not really convinced that this is going to be like running all the time. Uh, loop. I'm not really sure like what frequency this runs at, so we're gonna be a little generous there. What is this language? Zig. Zig zig zig. It's very C like, but like kind of like C, but like newer C++ y, but without like destructors. Manual memory management, but like template. It's kind of stuff like that. Good language. I like it a lot. I really enjoy working in it. Okay. So if we run this shit now, we are definitely hitting our loop, which is good. And then can we actually, instead of doing whatever the fuck we're doing here, can we just be like, parsed? Man, ever since you removed the distracting mason, I really enjoy the streams. Hell yeah. Okay, well, oops. uh, don't worry. We're surely going to bring back something worse and more annoying. The code map that we're working on is actually supposed to replace that thing, but hopefully also be like valuable and useful. Kind of like best of all worlds. Where's our like hack to raise a sig stop? Yeah, let's just comment that as well. We don't need GDB anymore. Who needs GDB? No one. We never need debuggers. Fuck that shit. Okay, so what we're hoping to see is that after the build file is parsed, we're hoping to see like, oh, we notified, hooray. So Zig is running, but the problem here is that this loop stops hitting. So somebody in this main loop is in charge of like waiting for a job to come in. The assumption here is that like no work needs to be done, probably except unless this, right? So probably this reader probably waits. Yeah, this guy's just sitting here waiting, huh? Read until delimitator alloc. Yeah, so this guy's probably just like waiting on the file descriptor, which is a little annoying. It is a little bit annoying, which is also kind of interesting because it means that this like, it means that like async jobs actually can't be done unless they're attached to an incoming message. Okay, what we can do though is we can just cheat for now, right? We're trying to find a hacky workaround. So what we can do is, here we could do something like every once in a while. Where's our like reference retriever? It's in like DB builder, reference retriever. We could just literally just spam this shit with open file requests. So we could be like, here's our allocator, and here is our, you know, sup dude. We can say this sup dude is like empty as fuck. And if we do this, like, we could do like var I usize equals 0. We could do like for 0 to 10, maybe even. We could sleep for a second between these things. We could just be like, kind of like this, maybe. Then we would be able to like, we would, that loop would trigger. Okay, so now we should be able to call like update recording. Yeah, okay, so here, eventually we should see, we're hoping to see that in here, someone should say that we finished, but we don't seem to see that, so why the fuck not? Right, we were hoping to see this at some point, this parse, not notified. Did we see parsed? Where did I just go? Parsed. No. Okay. So let's just look a little closer. Update recording. Zig is running. Zig is running. Zig is finished. So what we were hoping to see here was that after Zig finished, that we would see him say something interesting, like I parsed the file, but we're not seeing that, which means that this check is not sufficient. We are hitting this loop, but we're not seeing this parse. So why the fuck not? Let's say here there is a build file. If not notified, this is backwards. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Let's try it again. Is there any good visual debugger for Linux? I don't really like visual debuggers. I'm sure that they're fine. Every time I try them, I find that like they kind of make it hard. Like it's the same reason like this image editor I'm working on. It's like I know what I want to do with the fucking numbers, but I can't find it in the UI. I feel the same way about visual debuggers, where it's like I know exactly what I want to do, and you're like you're hiding that thing from me. Like something that I used to use a lot is this like dprintf command, which basically says like set a breakpoint at x and then like print this string. When hit, then continue. And it's like just like exposing that from a visual debugger is like kind of annoying. And then also I used to work with like remote debugging a lot. And these visual debuggers would try to like print all the local variables, the stack, the like registers and stuff, and that would just be slow and like could cause crashes. So I would just like hit a breakpoint on like this like really important bug, and then like my debugger would crash. I'm like, fuck this shit, right? Like just don't fucking do anything. Just don't do anything. Let me do the things I want to do. And so it's like I'm sure there's something that exists, but it's just like I'd rather just they don't get in my way. You know, I'm like happy. I'm happy to type B on the command line. Like I can do that. I know it probably makes me old. I'm sure that like I'm probably getting into the stage of my life where like 10 people 10 years younger than me are coming into the field and being like, holy shit, what are you doing? Right? We're probably getting into that point. But you know, you can prime my command line debugger in my cold dead fucking hands, dude. Did I build this already? Yeah, I did. All right. So Zig is railing CPU, CPU complete. And interestingly, we fell over. This did say parsed. I actually don't understand why this happened. But we did manage to say parsed here. Sometimes I use VS Code on Linux for own debugger. It uses GDB or LDB, I think. There's also a front-end GB called GF for Linux. Yeah, I've heard of some of those. So I guess it's possible that this is a problem. It's possible that this has to happen like somewhere else. I mean, but that's done over here usually, and like it's done in like process job usually, right? It's kind of done here. Is usually he's okay with it. But if we comment that shit out, is he like much happier? Let's just see. Let's see if that does what we needed to do. If so, then we just need to figure out where we can inject this notification. Does my case count? I use GDB with a fancy GDB init file. I like those. I'm all for big fancy GDB init files. Those are lit. All right. So ZLS or Zig should be railing CPU. Good. Then we should say parsed here. Good. And then he doesn't crash, which kind of indicates that the problem was us. Oh, unless... Yeah, it does kind of indicate the problem is us, huh? Like this thing must be an issue. So what if we just did this down below, right? What if we did it here after he does his processing? Because surely this process job thing, unless he looks like he's doing something else, but it doesn't look like it, right? Like all it looks like he's doing here, he's not setting up any sort of like fancy context or anything. He's literally just like, let's send that shit. It's also possible that me sending something with no parameters in there could be triggering an edge case that he doesn't like. And I think that he doesn't like that name colliding, so we'll try this. We'll try this. We'll see if that changes anything. Hell G, thanks for the prime. Much appreciated. Okay. Okay. So we do a Zig build. We did that already. We run this thing. And we just hope that after ZLS or Zig finishes, sorry, I keep getting them confused. Interesting. Send to client might be doing something kind of wacky. He might be sending a request literally back to ourselves. And then when he sends that thing back to ourselves, he might be fucking up because maybe there are parts of this thing that need to be filled in. I bet you that's the case. Like he's expecting there to be like a method parameter and stuff, because like when he writes like the header, where does he write the header? Yeah, there's something going on here. Right, like content length here, JSON message len is maybe like not what he expects. He's getting an end of stream when he's trying to parse that. Yeah, okay, I'm not really gonna like I'm not gonna think too hard about this. I think that it's likely that there's a like somewhere we have to hack it, but I'm like pretty. I don't want to go through this right now. Do I? I feel like I should. I got it right. We got to drive it home. We got to know that if it works, it works. Fine. We'll keep going. I just don't. I don't want to, but we'll keep going. So what if we try to like send to client notification? I mean, we just gotta. We'll give him a valid string. Let's look at like this like diagnostics type when he does publish diagnostics. Surely this is related in some way. Oh, this is just params. So he just says that the diagnostics here, and then do we like do some sort of like a method lookup here? Is that why? Maybe method? If method, he writes the method. And then extra goes in like params or something. Yeah, how does like params get set? I don't understand. Oh, because he has a name for it here. So he has an extra name and extra. Oh, so we should have something kind of valid here. I don't really see a problem with what we've done. Unless the notification is saying params has to exist. Okay. And then like, what does this even do? He like sends this shit to like a writer somewhere. So writer is the buffer writer. So this goes into this buffer. This buffer gets returned out of this to send to client internal, which gets sent to client notification. Wait, so we should literally be doing nothing. Am I crazy? Because we're like not even sending that shit. We just thought we were, but we're not. What the fuck? Wait, I'm lost as fuck. If this just returns the thing, where does it actually get sent? Transport, here. Ah, it's sent here. Write JSON message. Right. So this sends something to transport write all. What is out here? File writer. Okay. I don't understand why us sending something is resulting in him failing to read something. Unless it's because our process is crashing, because we had that assert. It could be like we're crashing and I'm not noticing that. That's very possible. If like wait response here is trying to parse publish diagnostics notification and URI isn't there, so this crashes, then we crash. That's probably it, huh? Yeah. This is on our side. Fuck, I'm just no. Because he's saying the end of file, but are we? Yeah, code map is failing for some reason, and maybe that's getting lost. What if we run code map directly? Code map. Config. And scan_dir is going to be like, I don't know, res test. Ah! Okay, so we are immediately crashing. Why? Oh, maybe we're just literally done. No, because we're supposed to do this for 10 seconds. Which we are not doing. So why is like our process exiting? Is it this? Like if we just change that into like a catch nothing. Okay. Diagnostics complete. I don't really understand who is crashing. Oh, like I understand that like the child process is crashing because end of stream, but surely that end of stream is triggering because we close the connection on our side. Maybe not. But then I just don't understand like why we are also crashing. You know what I mean? Like I would expect like us, the people who spawned ZLS, to just sit there for a while. You know? That's just kind of what I would expect. Clearly that's not what's happening, but like why not? Why is there a breakpoint in wait response? Oh, because, okay, sure. That's why. There was like a fucking breakpoint in there that I didn't see. Oops. There we go. That makes way more sense. So we are mad because there's a missing field. That makes way more sense. Way more sense. So we need to make sure that when we're saying like wait response here, we do like, if this is not the thing we expect, we continue. And then that should make it so that things don't fall the fuck over. Much better. Much better. Okay. So now all we have to do is look for that thing. Right? So we just want to go like, maybe we do like reference retriever, like check complete or something. And this will return a bool. Okay. He might need an allocator. Maybe he probably doesn't. Probably doesn't need any of this shit, right? He might, but I guess we'll pass in the allocators in case. This will go into the check complete on the backend thing. This guy is going to basically do this same thing. But he's going to use dummy data here, like we were doing. So it was like file subdued, and the content was just like, I don't give a fuck. Right? then here we're waiting for a response of like complete, right? That's all we're looking for. Complete notification. And literally, or just like kind of like general notification is maybe what we're looking for. And this method is completely unset, right? And then we just say, hey, did we get like some sort of like, maybe even message is good enough? No, message doesn't have method. So we'll say general notification. And then we'll say if the general notification has something, has that like whatever the fuck we put in there. So response value method, if this is equal to like build, what do we call it? It was like build file. Build file parsed. Return true. I guess we could just kind of call like, this thing can't just wait for any response. This guy's also going to return the, I guess the else is return false here. So we say, wait for the notification of build file parsed. If you get it, great. Okay. Now the trick here is that we have to wait. We have to consume any messages that have been passed into this thing, I'm pretty sure, or else we're going to have problems later. So we have to check. This guy's also going to, no, he's not going to respond with anything normally. Other than this published diagnostics. He is going to respond with this published diagnostics. So I guess we say else if this return found. Yep. Found equals true. Var found equal false. And this is on text document publish diagnostics. Because we just have to like consume this event. Yeah, that seems good. Seems good enough to me. So here instead of this, I'll check complete, and then we'll say if this. Does he need the allocator? Is he using that anywhere? Yeah, he is. Okay. What's he pissed about? This needs to return true here unconditionally, I guess, on the recording path. Break. Maybe. Maybe. So we're hoping to see now. Oops. We do need to do our sleep in there. So what we're hoping to see now is that we wait until the zig build finishes. Oh, but interestingly, in this case, the zig build file is actually not going to be reprocessed. So this is not good. We saw parsed here, but we didn't break out of our loop. So like, why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Got response of this. Because I would have thought that we should be seeing some fucking build file parse, you know? Resp value method. That's what I would have thought. It's literally 8 a.m. here, just looked at my Slack. I hope that doesn't mean you stayed up all night. I hope. But if so, congratulations. Why am I seeing no messages here? Probably because he's not processed. Okay. Got it. Got. Am I fucking high? Why am I not seeing this? Oh, maybe we're in this case? Maybe we're seeing this? Ursach. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, here we go. So we got published diagnostics, published diagnostics, published diagnostics. Okay. Oh, this is happening too fucking early. This is happening before we even get to this section, which is why. Okay, I just want to prove that this notification is sent. We can handle the client side later. Can we go over here and build in release mode to speed this shit up? Because I'm just trying to prove to myself that if we wait on this notification, we will in fact get the right answer. That's all I want to prove to myself. I don't care about doing it right. I don't care about it working like robustly. I'm just trying to prove that this does fucking something. It's all I fucking want. And so let's just see if building in release mode, which should like fucking fix the insane slowness of this thing, might help a little bit. Oh, and then also I guess probably the Zig cache is not helping me here either. Yeah, the Zig cache is probably hurting me. Can I go into my update recording script and make sure that when I run this thing, like, is standard input and output pass through? Is it not supposed to be by default? I thought it was. Sub-process pipe. Do I just do like this? Maybe we'll make that work a little better. That's cool. Love that. Here we go. There we go. We saw build file parsed. Now, I don't like that didn't cause us to break out of our loop. Maybe I didn't build? No, I did. Okay. Is this thing... I think that this thing needs to be trimmed. I actually think that we somehow fucked this up on the other side, but again, we're prototyping. We're prototyping. Do you take any just chatting breaks? Ask your friend. Probably not. I'm not really. I'm like locked the fuck in, dude. I don't want to take a break. I'm trying to fucking get out of here. Now just oh here. Okay, publish, parsed. Yeah, why the fuck build file parse? Is it? This is definitely the thing. Can we just do instead contains at least? Is there not like a contains in here? Stud mem. Sure, I guess we'll just call contains at least with one. Fuck it. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Let's just get something working. Out of project management, straight question, but I don't want to do all the stream. Sometimes I answer, but I probably won't this one. Apologies. Yeah, why aren't we like fucking seeing this? Like, am I fucking mental? We got a response of build file parsed. Okay, great. For sure found it for real. Like, is this getting hit? Am I just stupid? Fuck. Like, I feel like I'm high. This is like the easiest part of the entire stream. Yeah, okay, so he found it. So then why the fuck aren't we breaking up the loop? Found is true, so we should be returning true here. Check complete should be returning true here. Check complete should be returning true here. We should be breaking out of the loop. Like, what the fuck? Hi, we are breaking now. Like, am I just like fucking mental? Or is like something horribly not working the way I expect? For sure found it for real. But we're not getting to high, we are breaking now? But found is set here. I'm gonna... the fucking... I was setting found inside the loop. Yeah, you caught me. You caught me. I'm a dumbass. You caught me. Okay. So now... do our some union do something? He has 4 references in here. That's very good. That means that he's found the ones in main. And now if we were to not do this, right, we just take out this like check complete out and we run it again. Then we will find that db.json will have only 2 references in there, right? Do something on some union. Only 2. We did it! Okay, so obviously, hack is a hack, right? But I think that we have like somewhat proven to ourselves that we understand the problem, right? When we process a project, the build file has to be checked to resolve imports in packages, right? Now, in our case, that is done asynchronously, and we have to make sure that that is done before we try to find references for anything. Because if we find stuff, if we're like looking for references of some module, it is imported by some module name, package name, as ZLS called it, from another file. It cannot resolve that. But that is the only problem, right? Because I believe that if we were not using packages, we wouldn't be hitting this bug. I think that's what's happening. And we have hacked in a workaround where we just say, okay, when that thing's done, send out something like, let us know, and we can wait for that thing. And if we wait for that thing, it sure works. So pretty exciting. I think that the next step here is to try to write a pull request that does something like way more sane than that, right? I think that I saw on the ZLS issue tracker, I was looking for like progress in here. And I think I saw somewhere in here, there's no real use for this knowing it. So somebody was like, can we like fucking use this thing, this like progress support. And the ZLS guy is like, there's no use for this at the moment. We do everything in a single thread. It gets start be split our build file compilation logic into a workable and use this for that. So it looks like since this was written, they did this part, and we could hack in. We could like maybe prototype something and submit a PR for that. I think that's probably the task for tomorrow, because I think that it would be nice for us to have some sort of like real way of syncing up. And then probably in our like our if we wanted to our app to not be hard coded to ZLS, our config JSON could have in here like wait message in here could be like progress, like, you know, whatever special message. You know, we could do something like that. But we'll see. Anyways, that's a problem for another day. Happy with that. That was exciting. I hope that this type of work is fun to watch. I know that it's just kind of being like, I don't know what's happening and jumping around a code base, and I know it's hard to follow somebody else jumping around a code base, but I hope that it was interesting enough. If you liked what you saw, we stream most days at around 12:30 Pacific time to 4 o'clock Pacific time. It is 4:30 Pacific time now, so you should expect to see us online from 4 hours ago to half an hour ago is the typical online time. If you are watching live and you're like, man, I wish that I could keep up, but I can't watch all the time when it's live, there's a YouTube link in the Twitch description. We keep our stuff organized into playlists. We're working on this map of the code base. We're also working on this image manipulation, GIMP replacement thing, and / GUI framework, and probably font rendering. We're kind of working on all of these things right now. If you're watching these VODs and you're like, wait, these are 2 hours long and you said 4 hours, it is because there's some stuff that's not worth doing on stream. Or like at the very least, there's stuff that's like hard to title and put a thumbnail for in a YouTube video. And so for that stuff, we call those happy hours. Today we were working on kind of like cleaning up and merging the last bit of our image manipulation stuff, the broken image selection. So we were just kind of like merging that, cleaning it up, etc. So if you want to see that type of stuff, those are archived on Patreon or under YouTube member streams, or if you subscribe on Twitch, you can see the VODs there for however long they're up. Okay, I think that's all plugging. YouTube, peace out. Twitch, let's find someone to raid.